that Kyiv could fall to Russia within a matter of days as violence continues this morning as Russian forces invade Ukraine. We are following the latest from the battle between the two countries, along with going beyond the headlines. Melanie Townsend joins us, speaking with a law expert to explain the legal side of the conflict. Melanie.
Well, as you said, May, Russian troops have entered the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, and world leaders are watching this in disbelief and in anger, and they are ready to take firm action. McGeorge School of Law professor Omar Dajani is joining us live to look at the legality of this move by Russia. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's my pleasure.
So the Kremlin says Russia is ready to send a delegation to Belarus for talks with Ukrainian officials. But I think everybody is wondering at this point, what does Putin want and what legal standing does Ukraine have? And is it really too late for any sort of deal or discussion to be reached right now?
It's a difficult moment for sure. There's no question that Russia has violated international law by crossing Ukraine's territorial boundaries, violating its territorial sovereignty. It's violated the United Nations Charter. It's committed the crime of aggression, which is recognized as a crime under the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. The difficulty is figuring out how the international community responds. The international system does have an architecture for dealing with circumstances like this, but a lot of it turns on the United Nations Security Council, which Russia is, like the United States, a member of and has veto power in. And so the ability to enforce that security architecture and legal architecture against Russia is constrained. Now, it does seem that a number of the steps that the United States and NATO more broadly have taken over the last 20 years have increased Russian threat perceptions. The fact that there are U.S. bases encircling Russia, at least on its western front, means that Russia is looking for some means of, first of all, stopping NATO's further expansion, and secondly, creating a framework within Ukraine that can serve as a means of lowering the temperature on lowering the temperature in terms of these threat perceptions.
Right, right. And Omar, world leaders, obviously, they want to impose tougher sanctions upon Putin. But is that going to be enough? I think people are wondering, to stop this progression of this invasion and essentially taking over Kyiv.
So I think that the problem with sanctions is that they take a long time to work. And Russia has considerable reserves and can draw on those reserves to diminish the consequences of sanctions for the Russian economy. So I think that sanctions are an important piece of the puzzle, but I am skeptical that they are going to stop this invasion. I think the real question as negotiations start is what kind of new framework can be erected for security in Western and Eastern Europe that is less threatening to Russian ambitions, and at the same time that is responsive to international law.
Right. And you know what's funny? I was reading the Russian Federation itself outlaws crime of aggression. So could Russian officials be held accountable on their own standards in their own territory? I mean, these are the rules that they're breaking themselves that they have set.
I mean, one of the really important questions is going to be what the domestic consequences of this are for Putin. Putin is taking a gamble that this will improve his standing in Russia, which has been the case before when he's committed military acts of this kind, including his invasion of Crimea, his exercise in Syria, his intervention in Syria. So he's taking a bet that this is also going to improve his standing. But it's possible that if the war goes awry, that the opposite result will occur. And there is opposition in Russia to this invasion. And so down the line, it's not impossible to imagine what you just pointed out.
Absolutely.
That Russians will hold him to account.
Omar Dajani from McGeorge School of Law, thank you so much for offering your input and insight into this escalating situation. We appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it as well.